Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and today we're reviewing for you Antonblast on the Nintendo Switch. This review was originally written by the wonderful Mitch Vogel and has been adapted for video by me. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. A few months ago, the Switch finally received Pizza Tower, an indie action platformer that's got a lot of praise for just how well it channels Nintendo's long-dormant Wario Land series. Yet, developer Tour de Pizza wasn't the only team inspired by Wario. Oh, crumbs no. Summit Sphere's Antonblast is a wild and wonderful action platformer that feels like it could actually be the next Wario Land game if it came with a different coat of paint. Its combination of speed, precision, and smart level design makes for a truly thrilling experience that's only let down a little bit by some iffy performance here and there. Antonblast stars the titular Dynamite Anton, whose angry red skin appearance leaves Satan feeling envious and insecure about his status of being the reddest being of them all. Takes all sorts, I suppose. So, in a petty act of retaliation, he sends his minions to Anton's apartment to steal what he cherishes the most, the spirits that he kept around his living space. Enraged, Anton grabs his hammer and sets out on a quest to reclaim what was stolen and give Satan a piece of his mind. Play through any given level here, and the inspiration it takes from Wario Land 4 is immediately clear. Anton, or his roommate Annie if you prefer, tears through levels like a virtually unstoppable force of nature, smashing boxes and blowing up enemies as he bounces around with his hammer and powers through obstacles with his clutch charge ability. There are loads of different side paths to explore and collectibles to snag along the way, but the ultimate goal here is to get to the bomb at the end of the level so that you can start Happy Hour. Once triggered, a countdown clock begins and you only have a few minutes to run all the way back through the level with the spirit you collected. These mad dashes to safety are a massive thrill, as you are often forced to take an alternate path back to the beginning and usually leave an enormous path of destruction in your wake on the trip back. Simply beating a level isn't enough to get the full experience, however, not even if you took your time to scrub it for all its collectibles. After beating each one, you'll unlock a time attack and combo chain mode for that level, and this is where the exceptional level design really comes into focus. For time attack, each level gives you a tight par time to achieve that demands you master level layouts and understand the nuances of Anton's moveset to optimize your attempts. Combo chain works much in the same way, but here you're tasked with maintaining an unbroken combo by strategically smashing boxes and blowing up enemies, all without any health pickups to help you out. We really enjoyed what these two modes brought to the table, as they force you to engage with each level in a different way each time and add greater challenge and replayability to an already great platformer. Even if you just stick to the minimum content to clear the base story, Antonblast displays a remarkable amount of variety across its relatively brief run. It should only take you about 10 hours to clear, and maybe double that if you do absolutely everything, but it makes the most of that time by constantly introducing new ideas and level concepts along the way. One level has a power-up that essentially turns you into Taz the Tasmanian Devil, remember him, utterly obliterating everything in your path as you turn into a chaotic whirlwind. Another stage introduces a blazing fast shark buddy thing that Anton can ride or become. It's unclear, but he can do it on either land or sea, giving you new traversal opportunities as he screams incessantly. This is the kind of game that keeps things moving, and its commitment to introducing new ideas and building levels around them keeps it feeling constantly fresh. As for its visual presentation, Antonblast is clearly inspired by the likes of old Newgrounds-style Flash animations and 90s Nickelodeon shows. There's a twisted and somewhat dreamlike quality to the colorful worlds you terrorize on your journey, and the characters and animation have a very Looney Tunes-esque vibe with exaggerated movements, stretch and squash and all that good stuff. At just about any moment on screen, there's bound to be something exploding, screaming or collapsing, and with this underscored by the vibration feature of the Joy-Con, it leads to a very lively visual experience. But it's the attention to the little details that really sells the art style, such as the long trail of A's that follow a terrified enemy you just sent careening into a brick wall. The audio keeps up with the madness of the action with a pop and jazz-infused soundtrack that maintains a high energy level throughout. And we especially appreciate the frequent cartoonish sound effects to punctuate Anton's destructive actions. Things like when Anton does a body slam from a high jump and it plays a plane crashing sound effect. It all keeps the goofy atmosphere front and center, and we are so here for it. One gripe, however, is that the performance doesn't always manage to keep up with the constant action. There are a handful of moments where the screen is positively soaked in explosions, poker chips, and screaming enemies, which results in the frame rate struggling. These drops don't have a massive direct effect on your ability to control Anton, but they are still noticeable. In fairness though, things have vastly improved as of the most recent patch, which is just as well as the state of the game at launch meant that these instances were substantially worse and more disruptive. Things are far better now, thankfully. Antonblast is a great tribute to Nintendo's Wario Land series with its madcap action and focus on gameplay variety. The cartoonish visuals, high replayability, and overall spectacle of the experience make this one well worth a recommendation, though performance still isn't absolutely perfect on Nintendo's platform. Whether on Switch or elsewhere, we'd suggest you pick this one up if you're at all a fan of Nintendo's other Italian mascot and are looking for a well-made and fast-paced new 2D platformer. Antonblast has got it where it counts and is well deserving of a spot in your library. Antonblast, you're getting an 8 out of 10 from us. You've reached the end of the review. That means it's time for Alex's personal thoughts. And anyone who knows me and knows this channel knows that, yeah, I was bound to love this game. Everything from the visuals, art style, and the whole sort of low resolution that it's going for. I mean, it's forced, obviously, but it's a low resolution. It just feels like this was a GBA game that they've just put on the Switch. And it's brilliant. I initially started playing it like really fast and madcap and just tried to rush through everything, and that's absolutely a perfectly sound way to play the game, but I would say that the first time you go through levels, don't be a me. Take your time, have a look around, explore, because I think you'll get a little bit more out of the game. I was kind of playing it like I wanted to speedrun it, and it's a perfectly valid way to play the game, and if that's what you want, then more power to you. But I do think the first time you go through a level, just maybe slow down a bit, don't be a me. Having said that, when I was blitzing through absolutely everything, I had an incredible time. It is so high octane if you want it to be, but it doesn't force you to do that. You can slow down, and it doesn't give you a penalty necessarily. I mean, it will on time attack, but that's kind of in the name. Anton is just simply a joy to control. Everything feels so ridiculously refined. He is just a delight to control. All the characters are bursting with personality as well. Anton's just an angry man constantly. Satan has, I think to me it's a bit of a Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Dr. Robotnik vibe to him, which I absolutely love. There's a dedicated scream button, which now I think every game should have. There's loads of unlockables as well. It's just brimming with stuff. And I know I've already mentioned it, but the visuals are they are so good. The art style is consistent, wacky. It has a very, I would say, sort of kind of cow and chicken vibe, if that means anything to anyone. Not that I ever saw that growing up. I had like a folder with it on, I think I got for Christmas, despite never seeing the program. That's just what happens when you're a child. But the exaggerated proportions, the fact that every time you do a ground pound or ground slam, body slam, whatever you want to call it, with Anton, his teeth are like sort of spread out and look awful. It's just wonderful to look at, even if it is kind of horrific. It is utterly superb, and I know Mitch said that this could be a new Wario Land game in some ways, but I don't actually think that's true, but not because of the quality or anything like that, but because Nintendo wouldn't allow you to play this game this quickly, I don't think. They definitely sort of reel it back, hamper it so that you couldn't move so fast because, you got to think of the kiddies, which is absolutely fine. I hasten to point that out. That is a perfectly valid way to create a game, but my god, thank goodness we've got indies like Summitsphere to be able to make these kind of extreme versions of Nintendo games that we'd never get otherwise. And I would say that bar the, sort of performance issues here and there, this is, I would say, verging on Nintendo quality. It is absolutely superb. It's more than a good, it's a very good.